Jingle jangle jewelry, welcome to the Georg Rockall-Schmidt show. It's the Christmas edition. How are you doing, Damien? Are you in a Christmassy spirit?
I'm in a very Christmassy spirit, thank you very much.
As you can imagine at home, or wherever you are, stuck in an elevator somewhere, Damien and I are, Christmassy people. Very Christmassy people.
Super Christmassy people.
Damien, I cannot think of a single fucking movie, apart from maybe The Snowman and maybe Die Hard, that is a Christmas movie that I like.
That is a Christmas movie. I've seen movies with snow in it, but I don't think they count.
Reindeer Games, I guess I kind of like that a bit, not really. It's like Christmas music. I can't think of a single piece of Christmas music that I like.
No, not at all. I've heard some absolute fucking dirge as well. I mean, they've got the traditional carols, but I remember a while back when I used to work in Sainsbury's, and in late October they'd switch over from the regular company radio to fucking Christmas radio, and you'd have all these people taking the traditional carols, which were saccharine enough, and trying to slick them up, trying to kind of really force them into a more kind of pop music groove, or even worse, dare I say, like hip hop. And oh god, you see people at Tree try to fucking sex up rum pum 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 and stuff like that, and then, I don't know, for those 2 months of the year, every time I'm fucking stacking these cakes on the shelves, I'd have to stop and just stop myself from trying to peel my own fucking skin off.
I can just imagine you walking around with like red eyes, because you used to go into work red-eyed, red eyes, absolutely wretched, and just in your brain all you can hear is over and over again, "It's Christmas! It's Christmas! It's Christmas!" I mean, I bet that's what's going in fucking Noddy Holder's head.
Oh dear. And that would be the end of every shift, yeah. And if
no one believes me, but my dad used to live next to Noddy Holder when he was a skinhead. It's true. It sounds like I'm making it up. It's true. Noddy Holder is a proper musician, and I bet he fucking hates that song.
All year round, if he's ever recognised.
Oh, lady in a rocking chair. Sorry, what? Yeah. That's how the lyric goes, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I'm by no means an authority.
Then again, I don't know. I imagine he's fucking rich. I imagine Noddy Holder is very rich because of Christmas.
Yeah. Is he still alive?
Oh, I don't know. Let me do some tapping to find out. Foolish Damien, Noddy Holder can't die.
Is that what it says? Has it just melted your computer?
I can't type Noddy Holder into a search engine. My search engine is dirty enough. My history is just, yeah.
It's contaminated enough.
It's contaminated enough with all this shit. Let me have a look. Noddy Holder. Is Tim Allen still alive? He doesn't say he's dead, so yes, I think he's still alive.
Oh, okay. But Tim Allen was beaten to death in prison.
Yeah. Noddy Holder, like everyone else who we talk about on this show, is 71 years old. Yeah, right.
So, ask us the same question next year round, and we might have a differing answer.
We should just change this to a phone-in so people can be like, "Hi there, I was wondering, is George Clooney still alive?" Well, let me just find out for you.
Welcome to Potential Obituaries with George and Damien.
I hope no one ever finds out about this Google thing.
No, we do it. We upgrade it to like a TV show, and we just spin a wheel every time, and it seals the fate of various celebrities.
Yeah. I mean, they must die in the next 12 months.
Yeah, but we do it like
rule.
a sort of Christmas special. So, if we've chance on someone who's already dead and it says they're alive, Christmas miracle, they get another year.
Do you think there is potential for Christmas movies to be not the saccharine, cynical, commercial splurge fest that they are?
Well, I know. I kind of... Well, yeah, I would say for the most part, what people classify as a Christmas movie is inherently kind of commercial. I mean, I've been seeing on the tube posters for, was it Bad Moms 2, The Christmas Party, and it's
Bad Moms.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when she's looking for your homework? Bad moms, bad moms. Sorry.
I imagine it's something you don't watch other than it's obviously released around Christmas time, and I don't feel like it's something that you're going to watch kind of any other point in the year really. I don't imagine it's something people are going to own on DVD either, because it's obsolete. Or in general.
Well, Bad Moms, that sort of thing sounds like they just thought, oh well, we can't release it at this time. We can't release. Oh fuck it, let's just release it in December and call it Bad Moms Christmas. You can, and then you just get someone to kind of put in some Christmassy music like jingle, 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 jingle.
It's actually a really tense suspense horror where the cast are habitually murdered.
Yeah, the first shot is somebody opening the trunk of a car and getting a semi-automatic shotgun out of it.
Yeah.
Jingle, jingle, jingle,
the Krampus, he arrived. He nears.
Oh well, now. You said something that began with cram, and now I'm just thinking of. Can anyone name it?
No, I what is that?
Well, you'll find out if you look in the comments.
But not all kind of Christmas. It depends how you want to kind of define Christmas movies, really, because I regard Die Hard as somewhat of a Christmas movie. But
yeah, a bit. But it's a bit of a joke that it's a Christmas movie as well.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, I've heard people make the argument simply because it's a movie that's set at the time of Christmas, but it's obviously.
Well, yeah, but there's more than that. I mean, it does contain the phrase "her, her, her."
You were just looking for an excuse to say that.
No,
that's going to be the next. George, what's
her,
that catchphrase you've been trying
her, her.
crowbar into this show?
I think that's how Santa must speak. I will give all the children all of the presents in the world. Ho, ho, ho. Oh yeah, I can do that with my voice now.
And that's what Muppets Christmas should be now.
Hello there. My name is Martin Chin. How's that?
Oh, so a severely debilitated Alan Rickman doing an impression of Martin Sheen as Santa Claus.
This podcast has devolved into me making noises.
Damien, I know you can't, but pull my finger.
I don't know. I associate... Okay, going back to the topic. I associate Tim Allen with Christmas.
Sorry, did we actually... I don't think we clarified that we were talking about Tim Allen at all. We maybe mentioned that he was alive. I don't think we've actually clarified what our subject matter for this episode was so far.
It's in the title. People, keep up. People have seen the groovy-ass thumbnail that I've probably made by now.
It better be just like a headshot of Tim Allen.
Tim Allen is great for thumbnails because no matter what he's doing, no matter what film he's in, probably when he's not even in a film, he just looks like he's passing wind. He's very much like Jamie Oliver in that regard. He just looks very kind of fluffy.
I can see that. I
was going to say, I bet Tim Allen's the sort of guy who you can like clink a bottle with at a barbecue, and then you're talking to him, and you kind of think, I don't get this, because people at this barbecue, they're cool. This Tim Allen guy's cool. This Tim Allen guy seems really interesting, but people kind of seem to avoid him a bit. Not like they don't like him, but they just don't want to stand near. Oh, fuck. That stinks, Tim Allen.
The air is warm, and it's not the barbecue.
Yeah, the air is warm. My eyes are warm. You know it's warm when my eyes are warm.
I've just got into the kitchen to get another drink. Why does it burn? But I do like, when I've had the occasional cheeky Trump, I always like to specify with people that
when you've touched tails with a vanka.
Unfortunately, I don't have the wit to go political. I was just.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I just did. That was so political of me.
Let me do my satiric comedy.
Hillary Clinton, trousers.
Oh.
I'd love to do that. I'd love to call myself a political comedian and like go on tour, go around the political circuit. But all I do is just say like how bad politicians are at golf and things like that. It's very tame.
But it's done in a very, very horrible voice. It's almost inaudible. All right, so yeah, we need to talk about Tim Allen and Christmas movies and why we picked Tim Allen as our Christmas mascot, I suppose.
Because he's the Santa Claus. He's very Santa-y. I mean, as ex-heroin dealers go, I can't believe you mentioned that. There's nothing to do with anything, Damien. How rude.
I'd love to hear a glorious composite of my voice saying heroin dealer.
Heroin dealer.
Oh, there doesn't need to be a composite now. I've just said it. Bollocks. I've stitched myself up.
Yeah. Tim Allen, or as we like to call him, Mr. H. I don't know. He's warm and he's fuzzy and he's not fat, but there's enough man there to go around. Which speaks Christmas to me.
Oh dear God. So what you're saying is they'd have to take turns on Tim Allen.
Oh no! Oh no!
Get in line. Get in line.
Based him like a turkey. No, what I'm saying is, I imagine he's the sort of guy who could help you put up a barn, but also he's very kind of pudgy as well. He's a bit pudgy.
And that's the Santa Claus criteria, is it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Santa Claus, fat bastard, but also a practical man.
Right. Okay.
I think I imagine Santa Claus. He can rehoof a reindeer, can't he? Reshoe a reindeer.
I would suppose so.
Do reindeers wear shoes? Of course they don't, because in real life reindeers aren't used for manual work.
They're used for their meat.
If Santa Claus, if our Santa Claus film started with a little kid saying, "But Santa, I thought you had reindeers, not so."
Here in Soviet Russia.
Is that Russian? I thought it was French. Oh, but Santa, I'm an 8-year-old boy, and I was thinking that you had the reindeer, not the horses that I can eat. And Santa thwacks him round the face and said, "Eat coal, you bitch."
Roll
says,
credits.
Of course I have horses. Why would I have reindeer? Reindeers don't make sense. Yeah, I live in the North Pole, but I have a fucking stable and it's heated. God.
Look, you're looking at a prime Amazon customer here. I don't need to get on a fucking sleigh at all these days. I've got drones, baby.
If you think about it, Santa, he'd be naked, but his modesty.
Why would he naturally be naked?
Because he's a fat dude and he could hide his modesty with his big beer gut because he loves a fucking IPA, and he'd hide his breasticles but with his beard, and I'd be riding a massive Shire horse that has hair over its eyes.
He needs to air out those folds. That's what he's doing, really.
And if anyone wanted a present, he'd just pluck it from one of his folds.
Oh my God.
Hang on, let me just find out what's been in the naughty crevasse.
All right, so what present? Where the present come from is dictated by the child's behaviour. Yes.
Yes, definitely.
So what? I mean, I can only imagine.
If it's a good child, it comes from one of his chins.
Oh, okay. I suppose that would be the least offensive place you could produce a present.
Unless he takes it out of his afro.
We've never seen him without a hat, so we can make any assumption as to what his hair looks like.
I've never seen Santa without a bottle of Coca-Cola. He says, "Yeah, it's like 20% Coca-Cola, Santa. Give it a break." Yeah, Mrs. Claus, he's on the gin. I don't know. I've seen a lot of stuff where it is kind of implied Santa's a bit of a drunk.
Yeah. They tried to tell you that it's frostbite. That's why he's got those rosy red cheeks. But no,
it's nothing to do with all that port.
No, not at all. We're not trying to sweep the cirrhosis under the rug or anything.
I mean, if I can think of any kind of fantastical fairy tale character who's likely to have gout, I think it's got to be Santa, hasn't it?
He's always seen sat down. That's because of the rot in his feet.
Because he's so he gets on the sleigh and everything, but to get from his igloo to the sleigh, he has to get on a mobility scooter.
It's a very, very sad state of affairs.
How come that in all other fiction, elves are really tall and they have pointy ears and they're usually this ancient race, and yet in Father Christmas Land, in Lapland or wherever, it's just a midget. if you're fucking lucky, they may have bow legs.
Well, I imagine it's all to do with the slave labor. No, they'll be farmed at a very, very young age, and much like certain indigenous tribes, they'll have certain parts of their body bound at a very young age to prevent growth. But not to do with any kind of ideal of beauty, as it may be with such as with some of those indigenous tribes.
It's with
dem tribes. It's to impede the growth, so they can in no way be physically dominant in any kind of way.
I see. I mean, do you think that elven jobs are at risk from automation and maybe even AI? Am I the only one here between the two of us who associates Tim Allen with Christmas?
No, I remember vaguely. Was it the Santa Claus?
Yeah.
As it were. I don't. It must be quite an old movie, but I still think they're kind of making them, aren't they? Well, they made like quite a long series of them. I seem to remember like the fourth one, like it's Tim Allen, and for whatever reason, the Santa Claus curse never wore off, and he was doomed to be Santa Claus, forever on. And in this one, he's facing Martin Short. He's facing off against Martin Short as Jack Frost. And like the vision of Martin Short on this poster was something of a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, the Santa Claus 3, the Escape Clause.
All right.
The film stars Tim Allen returning as Scott Calvin / Santa Claus and Martin Short as Jack Frost.
The Escape Clause. So what we can say that he's been entrapped inside Santa's body for... When was the first movie out? I would say mid-late 90s. So we're talking the better part of a decade. He's been trapped inside Santa's body. And he's going to, as I say, work his way out, maybe chest burst slightly.
So this is kind of weird. The Santa Claus came out in 1994. The Santa Claus 2 came out in 2002.
Wow,
so
okay.
There was an 8-year gap. That is weird. Yeah. Well, going back to the Santa Claus 3 with Martin Short, the poster for that, it looks like Martin Short is in an entirely different movie. I mean, he's smiling, but it kind of looks quite sinister.
Yeah, it does. It does have the potential to be like a cheap slasher movie.
Yeah, or like this is the film of the Jabberwocky. It looks like it's for kids, but it really isn't.
It's like the first pitch for Jigsaw or something like that. It's like, get that shit out of my office. But it's a good start.
Get that shit out of my office. You're fired, well done. But your work remains.
Leave it behind. Don't sign it.
Oh, I went down to the critical response to the Santa Claus 3 thing, and then it had awards and nominations, and I didn't realise what I was looking at. And I thought, oh, Tim Allen was nominated for a few things. And then, no, he was nominated for the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor and Worst Screen Couple with Martin Short.
Well, I'm not surprised it's absolute dirge.
Well, and yeah, the film was only nominated. It didn't win any raspberries either. It didn't even win Worst Excuse for Family Entertainment. Which seems to be a category just made for it, and it didn't even win it, so...
Like, it was nominated just on for the fact that we had to like point our finger and say this is garbage, but we couldn't look at it in any greater detail than that. It just wasn't worth the time.
So I'm just reading now. The Santa Claus 3 was beaten at the box office by Borat. Wasn't 2006 a time to be alive?
Remember when you were queuing at the cinema and your choices were?
Oh, Borat.
But I do vaguely remember seeing it as a kid, and I thought like the premise was pretty fucking bizarre.
We accidentally killed Santa, so now I have to be Santa.
Yeah. Like Tim Allen's on his roof, he sees an intruder, and he fucking puts 2 shells in fucking square in Santa's chest.
I don't think that happens, does it?
That's how I remember it as a 5-year-old.
But I thought it was like Tim Allen heard a noise in the middle of the night. He went down. And where the cookies were, he saw this big fat ass, and he had a little squeeze. And Santa kind of went, whoa, and jumped into the fireplace.
He thought it was his wife indulging in a little role play again.
He thought it was his fucking obese wife. Scoffing at the cookies. He's like, you fat bitch, that's for Santa.
Because the night before, Tim Allen had a massive argument with his wife. He rolls over and he's like kind of pushing at her back door a little bit. And he's like, "Can you just put a beard on for me?" He's like, "What the fuck is this?" And he's, she's a very committed wife. They've been married like 7 years at this point, and he lays it down. It's like, if you're not going to do this for me, I have these aberrant desires, and I'm not sure I can be in this marriage with you anymore. This to me is more important than the welfare of our own children. That's how much this means to me. You need to do this. And she eventually knuckles under. So, or at least she looks like it. So he makes the assumption the following night when he sees Santa raiding the fridge that his wish is coming true. He goes for it, right? Trousers around his ankles. Santa's freaked out for whatever reason. As you say,
massive heart attack.
Yeah, Santa jumps in the fire, but lest we forget, he's in the kitchen at this point, raiding a fridge. So we can have like this comic chase around the house. Santa's, we can kind of throw like a sort of Benny Hill type thing in. You see Santa running from room to room, and Tim Allen's chasing him with his dick out, and it's some kind of family fun there, with a bit of silly music. Then obviously it gets a little bit serious again. When Santa's being cooked alive
after being raped.
And we don't sugarcoat it. When he jumps in the fire, we hold that shot for 5 minutes, and we watch every scream, and they are all blood curdling.
Yeah, I mean, it ends with Tim Allen essentially beating Santa to death, not because he wants Santa to die, but because he's trying to put the fire out. But the fire is beneath his flesh, into his fat. It's bubbling his fat.
Yeah, so such a thing as like a fifth degree burn. It's almost internally generated.
What I was going to say is I thought that Santa Claus was about Tim Allen accidentally kills Santa and his wife.
Because he seems very deliberate in his actions, but that's the kind of the crux of the movie. We understand, we learn as we progress that he is this massive split personality.
Or just something like, I don't know, Tim Allen goes out on Christmas Eve. He has a fight with his wife. He goes out to a bar, and then he comes home and he finds Santa and his wife and his kids and his dog have all died from a gas leak. And he's like, this is my opportunity to pretend I'm dead. So he makes Santa look like him.
Right, because like Santa Claus lives across the road from Tim Allen, right? And like Santa Claus is the wealthy flat family on the street that's always rubbing it in. He's got his Porsche and what have you. And like Tim Allen's in this shitty fucking station wagon, and he hates it every fucking day. Tim Allen's like racking up debt like you wouldn't believe on all these fucking credit cards. He hasn't made a single sound financial decision in years. I mean, he is completely paralyzed, but he bears the stress just on his shoulders alone. His family knows nothing.
That's right.
He imagines his suicide on a daily basis. He sees his opportunity now to kind of wipe away his life and assume a better one.
And Santa, he's that guy across the street. He's got the hot wife. He's got the nice car. He's got the good job. And Tim Allen's like, I'll have that. And he does. And he pretends to be Santa somehow. And Santa's just a normal dude. No, or Santa does live at the North Pole. And he goes back there and he's got to convince these elves that he is Santa. And he's like, oh, hello, Shorty. And
yo, what up?
I'm a Santa. And it's just a story about how he tries to convince these underlings that he's still the same person.
And they don't believe it, but they have notoriously bad senses, so they have like this this inherent sense that something isn't right, but they can't distinguish with sight, sound and smell alone.
Because, as you've said, they've been bred to be dullards.
But they can tell by taste, so the elves conspire to remove some part of the body and do a blind tasting.
No, there's just like a 10-minute kind of sequence of Santa kind of going through the workshop inspecting stuff, just pretending he knows what's happening, saying, oh, yes, very good, very good. And they're constantly trying to like lick his neck or something, but not let him know that they're trying to do that.
It's like these, and because he's not Santa, he doesn't realize that the elves aren't supposed to, behave so amorously. So
Mrs. Santa catches on when he realizes that. Where Mrs. Santa catches on when she realizes that for the first time in 13 years she's having sex.
No, I would say conversely, Mrs. Claus sees this behavior and reckons that he's diddling the elves, and so ensues this horrible, horrible divorce, and it becomes this courtroom drama.
And for 4 or 5 years, no children have any presents because the Santas are consumed by this hefty divorce.
All these families across many nations are divided over this half decade.
Because the parents still buy the children presents, but without Santa, those presents under the tree on Christmas Eve, they just disappear because there's no Santa.
No, the parents just buy shit gifts because they don't know their kids very well, or they don't care.
Hey, Johnny, I bought one of these things. It's like a wooden thing that you can tilt around, and there's a marble in it.
Would have been great 50 years ago.
I used to want one of those so much when I was a kid. I used to want one so much, and then you had one years later, and I played with it, and it was like, this is shit.
It is shit, yeah.
This is so shit. Fuck this. Damien, next time I come, can you get rid of this gas fire and put in a roaring fire so I can throw this in?
This deserved to die.
It was just not good, was it? I don't know. What did I expect?
Yeah, I know. I can't remember, but I was doing some Christmas shopping yesterday, and I saw one of those wooden labyrinth things.
Oh, you were doing some Christmas shopping, were you? Oh, yeah. Were you with your husband?
I was with my.
I was with someone's husband. Did you just say my boss?
Yes.
Jesus, man.
But I saw one of these wooden labyrinth things.
Wait. So you couldn't buy anything for your girlfriend because she was there, or was she telling you what to buy her?
Kind of. No, it was just we were just buying shit for the house. Really, it's not an interesting story.
Here's a present for you, and here's a vacuum cleaner. Don't worry, it's for the house. Oh, you were telling me about you doing some Christmas shopping.
Oh, it's just those cheap ass wooden labyrinths, which were never a suitable a toy for anybody in the last fucking 30 years. But I saw it, and it was the exact same layout and path as this thing that I had that was fucking 30 years old. So in the last fucking 3 decades, they've had this shit that clearly no one would want to buy, but it's in no way evolved at all.
Oh, it's a stocking filler, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that robot arm you had?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I always kind of thought, okay, that was something I always wanted, and then I started to think, why would I want that? What would I do with it?
Yeah, I think it was great fun putting that thing together, but then it was even though it was a robot arm, it wasn't good to kind of do anything whatsoever, and it was the slowest fucking thing ever.
I think we had this conversation last year on the Boisterous Brothers, didn't we? Shit gifts that we'd gotten.
And it was just as crestfallen as well. So George, what is it, Damien? I think I had a crappy childhood.
I've never been happy.
Not even as a child. I thought this was something that just came in my kind of mid to late teens, and I was just, inherently cynical and miserable. But I think I've always been like this.
Yeah, when people say to kids, "Oh, enjoy your childhood; it's the happiest time." I'm not going to kind of say, "Oh, I had such a terrible childhood," but I never was a child "Oh, this is great." I never thought that. But as a fully grown adult now, it's not so much that your childhood is the best time in your life; it's just that it gets worse.
You're just imbued with more responsibility. Your sense of self is still just as fucked.
I can definitely see how people kind of get the edges burnt off and they just end up as these apathetic blobs. Fuck it. We were talking about Christmas movies.
Yeah, so back to Tim Allen's very messy, very acrimonious fucking divorce.
Yeah.
That shattered many families across the Western world.
I mean, it's the reason... it's the reason in 2019 Israel invades Lebanon again. It's fucked the world up. Mugabe came back to power because of Tim Allen not doing Santa's work.
All right, so the latter half of this movie is just one long, very bitter, very uncomfortable montage of all these world events linked straight to Tim Allen. All these despotic leaders. Like there's another Khmer Rouge.
It ends with Angela Merkel blowing her brains out in the Reichstag as the ministry buildings in Germany are invaded by neo-fascists. There's been a revolution, in Europe. Darkness is sweeping across the world. Or darkness is sweeping across Europe. Yeah,
and you just vaguely hear over the sound of the mobs, it's like, "Where is Klaus? Where is Klaus?"
No, and then it ends with us setting up the sequel, right? Because it ends with the darkness, and then you're like, oh god, this is so depressing for a PG-13 Tim Allen movie. Then you just see the back of Tim Allen as he's there with his automatic shotgun that he's got out of the trunk of his sleigh, and he doesn't say anything. You just hear the iconic music, jingle, jangle, jingle, jangle, jingle. Credits.
No, I think after all
directed by Zack Snyder.
No, I think
after
the descent of the Western world, we cut back to Tim Allen, and he has not worn it well. It seems like he cannot outrun this strife. At this point, we find him, he's taken his own life. Maybe it's just, we just find him as such. But someone discovers his body and understands there's this huge power vacuum in Europe now. And I think maybe
Tim Allen's dead.
And we don't see who it is, so maybe this is us setting up a different kind of sequel. But decides they're going to assume the identity of Santa Claus and such, fill this vacuum.
Yeah, maybe it's Vladimir Putin.
We can't say. We find out next year.
All right, okay, but you don't think that person is? You don't think that person's cricket?
I mean, like going back to Santa Claus. I mean, the thing that kind of I don't really remember the events of the movie, but the premise I always thought really kind of got under my skin as a kid because it's when it.
Yeah, was the Santa Claus before? Was he like 1,000 years old?
I can't remember, but I just seem to remember like as soon as Santa is was it gruesomely murdered or just broke his leg or whatever. But as soon as Tim Allen starts putting on the suit and his body starts morphing, I mean, I remember Tim Allen.
It's a body horror. It's Cronenberg body horror.
That's kind of I mean, I remember Tim Allen starts putting on weight and he can't understand why. So he has to go to his physician, and the doctor's like, "This is a medical phenomenon. We do not know." I mean, as a kid, that's kind of worrying. Is he really sick?
Yeah, and the bit they cut out of that scene was Tim Allen saying, "Doctor, I don't understand. I've been eating the same. I do my exercises, but over the last week I've put on about 60 pounds." And the doctor's like, "Yeah, that is so weird."
Yeah,
then Tim Allen says, "Yeah, and doctor, explain the dicklet." I used to have a normal dick. Why is it tiny?
So
I don't know. I get that vibe from Santa.
From Santa Claus, tiny dick.
Tiny. I always got the sense with Santa that Santa had a bit of a tiny dick.
It's not just the cold. That can be the tagline.
Do you know what I mean? He just looks like that sort of fat dude.
Yeah, with those very kind of chubby cheeks, he looks like he could be a little bit of a chode man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's very good at eating his Christmas ham.
Or I just feel like his dick would be buried between, his thighs and a fold of his belly, so it kind of looks chode-like. It just can't really gain much ground.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty normal dick. It's just his thunder thighs. Thunder thighs. Oh, that's a nice hi-fi. What is it? It's a thunderfly. Okay, well, I'm just plucking this out of my fucking ass. What if the Christmas Story is somehow Tim Allen and Riker from The Next Generation building something?
It sounds like you had that one written down.
Yeah. I've noticed that I'm writing a lot less down for these.
Was there any particular reason you settled on Riker?
Yeah, because he used to do.
He's got a beard.
Because he's got a beard. He used to do, Home Improvement, the show within a show with the guy with the beard, But I think it's kind of you need someone who's got a bit more star power now, like Riker.
The guy on the other side of the fence who looked like a kind of a shorter, fatter Riker.
Tim Allen is fat, and Riker sits down in a very strange way sometimes. It's the perfect fucking buddy movie. Do you think? Okay, sorry to repeat.
Do you want to see the buddy movie?
Surely Riker sits on his balls when he does that.
Oh yeah.
If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, which I'm sure is most people, Commander Riker from The Next Generation, does this thing extremely occasionally, almost rarely, where he would sit on a seat backwards, like kind of like he was about to, kind of like he was dressed in fishnets. And he was about to start stripping.
It's not that he sits on it in this kind of cabaret way. It's the way he vaults his leg over the back of the chair every time.
I think that is unbecoming of a senior officer.
Yeah, just sitting on a chair backwards is kind of fine. You can just, you can approach it in a normal way you'd approach a chair. But he kind of treats it like it's a hurdle.
Right, yes.
And I'm not talking metaphorical. I'm talking like in a sort of athletic sense.
Yes. I mean, I don't think it's ever appropriate for a man to sit like that. Why, with your fucking thighs like that? What is going on there?
Oh, dear.
Unless you're doing some sort of, charity calendar.
Depends who we're talking to with their Star Trek fan fiction. It could be a thing.
It's like, hi, I'm Riker, and if you're interested in helping children who can't hear very well, why don't you buy my charity calendar? It's called Sloppy Bears.
Well, this is a very Merry Christmas show, I think.
This is a filthy episode, isn't it?
It is pretty disgusting. We've got Santa's Joe and Riker's Sloppy Bears.
I mean, okay, is it all Riker, or is it just other kind of fat celebrities?
But on the Enterprise?
No, I mean in Riker's calendar.
Oh dear. Sorry, I'm trying to
is November Raymond Holmes, for example? Oh God, I want to fucking break my own hand now.
Yeah, please. I think we can do. We can maybe ask for it to be like a write-in. See what the listeners think, because I don't want to generate any more ideas. I think I feels like my dick's about to drop off. I
think we should name the listeners. I don't think we should just call them listeners. I think we should call them chums and chumlets.
Oh, I think that's way too familiar. I think there'll be a bit of a backlash with that.
Hello, chumsters.
All right, that sounds a little bit. That sounds vaguely insulting. We're pushing back a little bit. I think that could work.
Hello, you chumalamas.
Hello, dick farts.
Never mind.
I think we can go back to the Santa Claus. So, right, I wasn't quite sure what the resolution was in that film. So Santa makes this threat that he has to deliver all the presents now that Tim Allen has incapacitated him. So
I'm thinking of the resolution, and I'm just thinking of the poster for the Santa Claus 2, where he's established as Santa, and it should just be, because I guess the Santa Claus 2 in our universe should be Santa is challenged for the Santa ship, and the title should be Tim Allen as Santa, a completely black background. It's kind of very Ingmar Bergman, and it's just the Santa Claus 2 tagline: "Who ate all the pies? I ate all the fucking pies."
So what happens is, Tim Allen's issued with this threat, and and is subsequently hexed by Santa, which in turn causes this body metamorphosis. When he's at the physician, they find out what this weight gain is. It's not weight gain at all. It's not fat. Like, Santa's cursed Tim Allen, and he finds out he's got this 8-pound tumor in his stomach now. So Tim Allen is fucking pissed, and he accepts the challenge, and the rest of the movie is the two of them in a coliseum, no?
And they're completely unarmed, and their hands are tied behind their backs, and all they can do is belly slam.
Yeah, because they still have these incredible fucking thighs. They can really run at each other.
What basically the only way to defeat your opponent is to get them on the floor and then choke them to death with your thighs.
Well, because their arms shrink as well.
No, their arms are tied behind their backs.
I'd like this glorious reveal where, like, Santa takes off his jacket and you realise he's got these dud wooden arms that he's, prosthetics. And
listen. Go on.
When he's topless, he has these kind of like shrunken thalidomide arms or something like that.
Oh my God, Jesus!
Shrunken arms. We'll go with that. We'll cut out the previous one.
Thalidomide arms. Well, I don't know. That's a very good way of describing what you're talking about.
And at this point, like the Santa transformation is not, 100% with Tim Allen. So he's got longer arms, but they are definitely shorter. He understands that, they are going.
Wait. You said he's got longer arms, but they're definitely shorter.
Longer arms than Santa Claus, but they are shrinking.
Oh, but they are getting shorter. Okay, yeah, because Santa Claus is like 20% T-Rex.
No, actually, no. He doesn't have shrunken hands at all. He just doesn't have any, like, he has like no arm at all. It's just, regular hands straight in at the shoulder blades.
Well, no. Listen, what I was saying to go away from the Colosseum bit, the thing I was saying about the "I ate all the pies" tagline and everything is, when you become Santa, you become Santa. You are Santa until you too are killed by accident by some idiot, who knocked you off the roof or whatever. So basically, Santa Claus 2 is about Santa warding off a contender, because this is Highlander now. This is immortality.
Right. Okay.
But Tim Allen as Santa, he has a fucking army of elves, and it's just about him putting people down.
Right. Okay. So the second movie is him campaigning, basically.
Him campaigning, and like kind of ancillary characters getting out of kind of American muscle cars in the middle of 1970s New York and walking behind someone for about 30 seconds and then just thwacking them over the head with a lump hammer. and saying, yeah, good look at immortality next life, you bitch, and all that. Yeah.
You've got this really jaded, like, detective, and they're investigating all these murders, and as a sort of calling card, there's like 2 holly leaves left on each corpse.
Right, yeah, and they find all these people who have been murdered. They've all been in their own way, seeking immortality. They've all been obsessed with living for as long as possible, and then they start to realize there is someone who can live forever, unless you can kill them, and that's why these people are being murdered. And anyone who kind of gets onto this kind of train of investigation ends up face down in a fountain, somewhere or something like that.
What kind of movie is this?
Yeah. I mean, there's a prominent politician who starts to who leads an investigation, and then the next scene is they're hanging from Blackfriars Bridge.
Like a train of them hanging.
Yeah, it's fucking nasty. Yeah.
Like those like dodgy like canal tours you'd get on the river. You got people, you find them like brushing against the tops of these boats.
Right, and then and then it can be like, and then this guy this incredibly wealthy guy, who obviously can afford a private army. He gets through the North Pole defenses. He defeats this kind of security contingent of elves. And then it ends with, Santa putting a bullet in his head. And this guy's called something like Gomez Ramirez, and it's like, who the fuck is this guy? And then in the third movie, that's when Santa goes down to Sinaloa to sort shit out.
Right, okay. Is Santa still Tim Allen at this point?
Yeah, Santa's still Tim Allen. Tim Allen's, retained the crown, and now he's going to find the people who sent this bitch to take his immortality, and he's going to take over. And it just ends with Santa running Mexico.
He's a drug lord now.
Yeah. What do you kids want for Christmas? They want heroin. Everyone wants heroin. Heroin.
Okay.
It's come full circle.
Well, there we go. Rounded that one off quite nicely.
Yeah, the perfect end to Tim Allen's career is how he began his career.
So what more horrible fates can befall Tim Allen at Christmas time?
Hepatitis. I'm just thinking, you could have like Tim Allen, and then he realizes that the Santa before was Steve Allen, and ay caramba, and the person who's coming next is Woody Allen, and it could end with Tim Allen like smashing Woody Allen's face into a fucking pancake with a garbage can on the side of a road.
Yeah, we don't whitewash it either. You see, like, the skull collapse in on itself.
It's irreversible, but, if irreversible had been done with a bit of guts.
That's one thing you can say about that movie. It's a little
Very
bit light.
Soft. A little bit light, yeah. Not enough fire extinguisher.
I reckon, it kind of stays with the kind of reverse. Was it the Stephen King movie? Was it Slimming or something like that? Thinning. Slimming. His workout
Slimming
DVD.
with Stephen King. And it's just him saying, now do some more Coke. See, you're not hungry at all. Do some more Coke. Not hungry at all. Thinner. Yeah, it's about a man who paints something that he shouldn't have painted, and he goes to the hardware stores to get some thinner.
He used acrylic when he wanted watercolor. He made a right pig's ear.
I mean, I was thinking we could. Yeah, I was thinking along those lines as well. It's funny you say that because I was thinking we could just do a movie with Tim Allen called Fatty.
And it's just Tim Allen, unsatisfied with his career and the state of his life, and he's just in, a Burger King, just habitually eating.
Did you know that Tim Allen is 71?
71.
I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to find out. I know he's like far older than you would have thought.
I suppose so. He's been around for a long time.
He's 64.
Fucking Christ almighty. Oh,
yeah, whereas to me, he's still like a 41-year-old geography teacher. I mean, he looks great for 64.
Are you sure it's just not a picture that's, 20 years old? He hasn't been in the public eye for a long time now.
Is that true? He hasn't?
I don't know. I mean, he's not been on my radar for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I have my fingers on the fucking pulse. I think that much is very clear about me.
So, yeah, his credits are 2019 Toy Story 4, 2017 El Camino Christmas.
Wow, he does Christmas movies, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. 2013, he did 3 films. He did Adventures of the Penguin King. He was the narrator. And he did 3 Geezers. And he played Tim. So,
all right. Now, when you say 3 Geezers,
yeah, because it has an apostrophe.
3 movies called Geezers, or is it just one movie called 3 Geezers?
It doesn't have an apostrophe at the end. It has an exclamation mark at the end. It's an American comedy film starring J.K. Simmons, Tim Allen, Scott Caan, Breckin Meyer, Randy Couture, and Basil Hoffman. Okay. It's about a man researching what it's like to be old for a role in an upcoming movie. Wikipedia reckons that its box office is $4,000.
It was released worldwide as well.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I'll have to look this up. Well, okay, so let's go back to Tim Allen Fatty.
All right, so I reckon it's like the reverse thinning Stephen King thing, and he's got this weight gain curse on him. And like Santa issues him with this ultimatum.
But it's kind of fun, right? Like I imagine there's something of him doing dumbbells, and he's then he puts down the dumbbells, he picks up a bigger dumbbell, and he looks in the mirror, and he's slightly fatter, and he's like, "What?" And as he's doing this, as he's going around in the gym trying to do stuff, and he's getting fatter and fatter, the music's just going chub to 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 chub chub to chub to chub to chub chub to chub to chub to chub. Did we make that up?
We did.
Or is that something I'm thinking of?
We did when we were shit faced.
But it wasn't chub to chub, was it? It was something like
poo.
Poo. Yeah, right. Okay. I remember.
Yeah, there's no. You can't really contest that. It was that stupid. Are you sure it wasn't this, David? No, it was poo.
It was poo. Yeah.
And we did it for like at least like 40 odd minutes.
Well, we okay. So after that, after the chub bit, then he accepts it. And he's like, all right, then I'm going to get as fat as I can. I'm going to be the world's fattest man. Keep buttering, 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 buttering. Keep buttering, 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 buttering.
Does he want to be Santa Claus or just the fattest man? Is this like, maybe, like two and one are the same? Because he goes back to Santa to tell him he's accepted the fate. He doesn't really mind. It's just as well. Santa was incapacitated when he broke his leg. We go back because Santa's basically been squatting in Tim Allen's residence. He's got gangrene in his leg, right? And it's gotten really bad. We get back. Tim Allen kicks the door down. It's like the only time he can really, really exert himself. Really. And he gets
when he puts his weight on something.
Yeah. He gets in and he reckons he's going to give Santa what for. He goes into the living room. He finds Santa. He's in an iron lung.
It's just like, well, I guess I'll be the Santa then.
But Santa's not there to like call off this hex or curse or whatever. So he is like forever bound to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
But he's also getting taller as well. It ends up with like he's the size of the Iron Giant.
Yeah, but it's not like necessarily proportionate weight or anything. It's not like Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. He's not. He's more fat than anything else. I mean, his skeletal structure will grow, but not as much as you would think. Like, it gets to a point where you can't distinguish facial features. Like, doctors have to, like, force, like, this pipe down to his throat so he can still breathe. Like, Tim Allen can't see. He can barely breathe.
Just, like, he's so fat, he can't lay down. Oh, Jesus.
Like, at one point, they have to cut off what they can discern are his legs because, like, all this fat, because it grows, like, outwards everywhere. It's not like normal human weight gain where it, like, it grows off certain body parts like the arse or the belly or or your arms or whatever. It's just everywhere. Like, it just grows out of everywhere. And it starts putting incredible strain on like the spine, right? And at one point, like the lowest vertebrae just completely snaps, and they can see like the legs and the lower part of the body are starting to rot with gangrene. So they have to like nip that one in the bud and like cut them off.
It gets to the point like later on where the Earth's orbit is threatened because he's so fucking big. Like he's like 8 miles tall and 16 miles wide or something.
Right. So when you look from you look from like orbit, you can see this faint dot where Tim Allen is, but America's coastline seemed to have come in by considerable miles. It's brought the water in.
Like it just ends with him like enveloping the sun. Like one day the universe will be nothing but Tim Allen.
Right, so like the follow-up movies are still called Santa Claus, but it's actually more of this sci-fi thing where this cosmic body is swallowing up the universe.
Yeah, but there's no character or anything. It's just like 90 minutes where we've
it's just Neil deGrasse Tyson going, "Oh shit."
No, because I think by the second movie, Earth has been destroyed. It's just Tim Allen in space getting fatter and fatter.
Yeah, I mean, like what I imagined is like, Neil deGrasse Tyson narrates Tim Allen swallowing the solar system. I mean, we open with him like enveloping Saturn.
Yeah.
Every
Tim
time
Allen,
he swallows a planet, this process is sped up. He starts
Tim
to grow
Allen
exponentially.
is the great attractor.
And the only other like vaguely discernible dialogue in this movie is Tim Allen groaning across the cosmic belt.
Because he's still alive. He's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. He is an immortal. This was a grand prize of sorts.
Yes, he will live forever.
He's becoming something akin to a god.
Well, I mean, he will consume the universe. And then that's it. He will be everything that ever is.
Santa Claus 3.
Forever and ever. It's worse than hell.
Oh my god.
Oh, we ruin everything.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
But I think we've ruined it with Santa's dick and sloppy bears. I think this is pretty tame.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe the calendar was a bit too far. I mean, I've noticed with these, we don't really talk about like movies Tim Allen could have been in. It's just like, this is an idea, and we're going to fucking hammer this over and over again.
Welcome to Beating a Dead Horse. Tim Allen gets fat.
It's not more Christmas movies for Tim Allen. It's just, these are what the Santa Claus movie should have been.
Yeah, I think so.
Before we go, did you ever see that Jack Frost movie where someone is turned into a snowman, and it's the creepiest thing ever?
Yes, and for a long, long time, I confused it with another Jack Frost movie, which is just a horror movie, I think from like the late 90s. And like I would see because they're two very different snowmen, but either one I'd see, I'd always assume it was the horror movie.
I mean, okay, I've just come up with an idea. What if Santa Claus 4, it's Tim Allen as Santa Claus, the Santa Claus we know and love, no sloppy bear, no chode, no massive...
Yeah, you can't undo what we've done.
Yeah, it's just Santa Claus normally. But global warming means there are lots of children who, in Cairo, maybe, in Florida, who will never know a white Christmas. So he teams up with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Oh. Do they team up, or do they just buddy up and hang out? And like these children still know the same plight. It's just Tim Allen has everything to kind of change it and refuses to.
Oh, so you're saying like the stories about Mr. Freeze? He has the ability to create snow and stuff, but he doesn't do it. He just goes over to Santa's on Christmas Eve and they share a cigar.
Yeah. Well, no, he brings the concept of a white Christmas, but only to the wealthiest families in the upper strata of these broken countries, and it just becomes about how this I'd say wealthy elite in these third world countries abuse the peasants and the working class furthermore to facilitate this white Christmas.
Or Mr. Freeze becomes a multi-billionaire because he sets up like a massive data storage business in the middle of the Arizona desert, but because he's Mr. Freeze, he can keep all of the data cool.
It's not a very exciting movie, but he does become a business mogul.
Yeah, and he still does greet people like, "Nice to see you." He's especially goofy in this one.
Like someone shoved a pencil up his nose.
Yeah. No, he's still got the same capacity. He's just kind of like, he's good-natured in only a way that someone who's a little bit deficient can be. He's very innocent. He's very innocent.
No. His delivery's flawless, but Schwarzenegger really gives this role his all. He really wants to kind of want to be considered, a higher caliber actor, and he really, it's a very well considered role, but he's shot down by the director every time because he's always given the same direction, and it's all right, Arnold, can you just walk without bending your knees, please? So subsequently, he's falling around like a fucking toddler everywhere.
Arnold, what this scene needs is it just needs a bit more stiffness. A bit stiffer, please. Can you walk without bending your knees? And every scene, he's got to go up like 12 flights of stairs.
It's the only movie you'll ever see where the entire score is played on only a tuba.
Okay, so what we're saying then is it's Tim Allen, it's Mr. Freeze, and it's Larry David.
All right, we got the cast out of the way. I don't think it should be anything jolly at all. I think like Schwarzenegger breaks down after like the second staircase, and he doesn't try walking up it at all. He just falls over on it and slowly crawls up with tears in his eyes.
No, it's those three, and they're travelling to wine country because J.B. Smoove is getting married, and it's the last time those four lads are going to be together, and they're all like, "Lads, hey, lads." It's very much like that.
Okay. So, like Larry David has been told he's now a cheap. He has to be like a wide boy.
He has to be.
You
a
know
wine
how
boy,
you've never seen Only Fools and Horses, Larry David. I want you to be Only Fools and Horses, please.
Larry David, you know how the only media you've ever consumed is Only Fools and Horses?
Imagine you've spent the last 50 years strapped to a chair, and the only thing you've been watching is Only Fools and Horses. The only input your brain has had is David Jason saying, "Lovely jubbly."
So Larry David makes a bit of an ass of himself sometimes. Sometimes he makes a faux pas. Sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. It's always very cringeworthy. But he also goes, Arnold.
But only when he's walked off screen. Punctuation.
Yeah, because it might as well not be him, but he's got the Boise impression down pat. Okay, so how about this? Tim Allen, Gordon Ramsay, and Kelsey Grammer
Fucking hell.
are on a Christmassy heist together, and they get locked up in a bank vault, and they have to spend New Year's Eve, they have to spend Christmas Eve, getting to know the real spirit of Christmas, because they've got all this money, and their greed is tearing them apart, but then they've got to come together and realise the Christmas spirit to get out of their tricky situation. And they also have to, because they're the professionals, they're working together on this heist, but they also have to kind of have an intervention and find out, where all this anger is coming from for Gordon. Why the fuck is Gordon so angry?
They just, come to terms with how they've lived their lives entirely the wrong way, and it's far too late, because we haven't established that it's a bank vault. They've robbed some kind of drug lord. If they ever do get out of this vault, they will be met with a fate worse than death. So upon, this kind of moral epiphany, the climax of the movie is the three of them, ceremonially taking their own lives.
Drinking poison, yeah. Okay, well, that's the end of that then.
Who dies last?
No, I imagine that they drink the poison, and then Frasier's like, I didn't drink the poison. Yeah. All the money's for me.
Well, they don't realise it's kind of like this cheap jigsaw twist where actually Frasier was the drug lord the whole time.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think people would see that coming.
Oh, so that's too cheap, is it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dame, for pissing on my movie.
Yeah, pissing all over my movie. How dare you? I agree, though. If one of them was going to be, the turncoat or whatever, it would be Frasier. I don't know. I mean, I think Gordon Ramsay in that sort of situation. I could also imagine Gordon Ramsay and Frasier or Kelsey Grammer rather, and Tim Allen stuck on a boat together. I don't know. I think there's something very kind of old men-y about them together. Oh. In my mind, it's very, I don't know. But yeah, they're all very grumpy and kind of weird in a way, and they're all dickheads.
Like there's fuck all like spoken between them because they're just sullen old men.
Old men.
They just when they have their drinks delivered, they just throw them on the floor immediately. They just push the waiting staff down. That's all it is. It's just one dinner, right? There's no change of scene or anything like that.
It's just called a dinner with Kelsey Grammer, Gordon Ramsay, and Tim Allen. Enjoy.
And
there's no
fucking
script.
Hate it.
They fucking hate it. They fucking hate it, and you can tell that there's only a cameraman and like the boom operator, and they fucking hate it as well.
Yeah. They're all just told that they're not going to get paid for this at all. But they're on the fucking cruise, so they've got nowhere to go. It's a small liner. It's
called Christmas Simulator 2017.
Yeah.
What about if Tim Allen, Kelsey Grammer, and Gordon Ramsay escaped jail, but they were all still handcuffed to each other?
Do they ever escape from these handcuffs, or?
Well, yeah, maybe at the end of the movie.
Or should it be like the crux of the entire movie? The movie's called Cuffs. A lot of people get into it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Or what about Tim Allen, Kelsey Grammer, and Gordon Ramsay, and they're the Three Stooges? But they don't want to be the Three Stooges. They're not like.
But Santa's hexed them.
Yes.
And unless they deliver all the presents, they will always be the Three Stooges.
What? Okay. What about if those three people are Santa? And like Gordon Ramsay's the legs. and Frasier's the body and Tim Allen's the head.
Yeah,
and
but they're not imbued with the regular responsibilities of Santa Claus. They're just a spectacle Santa for in like shopping malls and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, they realise they've killed Santa. Together. They were having a Christmassy midnight barbecue. They killed Santa, and then they realised we have to be Santa, but also Santa was like 13 feet tall. So yeah, I don't know. And then they have to work out how to get down chimneys together and stuff like that. Whole lot of fun, whole lot of hijinks.
Yes, of course. And the longer they find themselves like miraculously bound, but with every passing moment they're failing at their task, their bodies fuse more intensely together.
I mean, I would consider Frasier very much to be the stomach of that situation.
Yeah, but just his face.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that man could chew a fucking bumblebee.
I have never heard that expression before.
I don't think it is an expression. I think it's just words that fell out of my mouth. So Damien and I are going to be doing a live stream after Christmas. At the time of recording this, we don't know exactly when it will be, but at the time of editing it, I think I will know when it will be, so I'm going to put some seamless editing in now. So, guys, join us on the live stream. It will be at 10 o'clock on the 27th of December. See you then, I hope. Right, Damien?
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I don't imagine it is too merry if they've gotten this far. After some of the things we've been saying.
So stop doing drugs. All right, thank you very much, guys. Have a Merry Christmas, and thank you very much for watching. Take care.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.